Welcome back to MX3.VIP, Money, Motivation, and Mike. And I am Michael Wainwright. Jason, the top 100, Time Magazine's top 100 most influential people. Down in 6 categories: artists, innovators, titans, icons, leaders, and pioneers. That's the 6 categories that they have chose to put the top 100 people in the world into. Now, I am going to touch on a couple of those categories, but what that brought me into after I continued to do some research, which was interesting to me, was Time Magazine's Person of the Year, which is now through 2025. All right?
Okay.
So I'm going to go over the Time Magazine Person of the Year, which, by the way, the very first year was 1927. Next year, Time Magazine's 100th Person of the Year will be out. So we're at 98. We got 26 and 27 to go. All right. Now, what you're going to find out, which I think is very interesting, that this list is dominated by presidents to a certain time.
Okay.
It's also dominated by, I'm going to call them the popes, because there's been more than one pope.
Sure.
And what I also think in that particular category is what's interesting, 1952, Queen Elizabeth. That was at the start of her reign. And she never won it again after 1952 and lived up until just a couple of years ago. All right. Now, this is what's interesting. I'm going to touch on this first. And you can go right down the list here and you can figure out what they're doing. First president to be Person of the Year was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, which a lot of men were named after back in that time. We have uncles that are Franklin Delano Wright, Frank, all because of that man right there. So we go Franklin Delano. Now, by the way, in 1944, Dwight Eisenhower was Person of the Year because of the war as the general. Okay, 1944. He did come back again in 1959 as president and was Person of the Year then again. Okay, so FDR, Harry Truman. Then we go, obviously, I've already mentioned Eisenhower. 1961, JFK, first year in office. Okay, then he goes to LBJ, Richard Nixon. Get this. Person of the Year, Richard Nixon. 71. Remember, he took over in 69, January 20th, 69. He's Person of the Year in 71 and 72. Then what happens? Watergate.
Yeah.
76, Jimmy Carter. All right. And then, let's see, Reagan. Reagan was, Bush was, Bill Clinton was twice. Bill Clinton in 1992. Now remember, Bill Clinton did not take office till January of 93. He was Person of the Year in 1992. Interesting.
Would have been campaigning possibly at the
Absolutely.
92, right?
Yes. Yes. And by the way, in that election, I voted for Bill Clinton.
Who was he running against, do you recall?
Yeah, I do. To me, this is what changed all of politics. And one man changed all of politics in a good or bad way, however you want to look at it. Bill Clinton ran, and Bill Clinton was low man on totem pole. He was the Democratic nominee, and he was coming in third. Remember, Ross Perot ran, got millions of votes.
As an independent?
As an independent.
Okay.
George Bush, number one.
Yeah.
Was the Republican candidate.
The incumbent.
Yep. Vice President of Reagan.
Yeah.
and was when we went to the Gulf War in 91, his approval rating was 93%, 90 plus, let's just say. He was off the charts. At that time, considered one of the most popular president, maybe the most popular president in the history of the office. 90% is ridiculous. I mean, these guys now get 40%. They're doing good.
Yeah, right.
Because everything's their fault, right or wrong.
Sure.
So then Bush came out and said, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and then he passed the tax bill, which was almost as devastating as Watergate. So, all right.
Lost the election for him, sounds like.
Yes. See, the deal, and I don't want to get off on that tangent because I can go down that road.
Sure.
Perot did not take Clinton's votes. He took Bush's votes because Perot was an independent, but he really was a Republican, definitely a conservative. So Bush, in my opinion, would have won that election pretty handedly. But Perot gets in there, takes Bush's votes.
Splitting the votes.
Yeah. Well, then Clinton comes in with the most votes.
Yeah.
Then he gets the Electoral College votes. So that's how it happened. Clinton was a long shot. He's just a redneck, hillbilly governor from Arkansas is literally what people thought. Now, that's when I went into business. The 90s were great. Whether it was Clinton or whether it wasn't, but his 8 years, and I think everybody on this show knows where I stand on a lot of these things. Bill Clinton economy was good. And that's how most people vote, with their pocketbook. So continuing on. Now, I'm to Bush. And of course, like I've already talked about, Clinton. And pretty impressive that he won Person of the Year in an election. All right. Then there is no Bush 2. Obama won it 4 times. 4 times. No Trump. Either time. No Joe. It's like it has stopped with, as a matter of fact, I'm looking on here. From 2010, other than Obama, there is no politicians on this list. And I can go back to 50 years ago with Henry Kissinger. And you have Newt Gingrich. There are other politicians on these lists that do not necessarily pertain to the president. How about Winston Churchill? John Foster Dulles, Dulles Airport. All right. This is a good one right here. 1956, the Hungarian freedom fighter. And I'm not really totally familiar with that. 1960, American scientist. How about that? That's interesting. Once again, in 1978, the Hungarian freedom fighter. Maybe you already figure out what that is, Jason. 1969, the Middle Americans. 68 was the Apollo 8 astronauts. And so forth and so on with that particular deal right there. 91, back to the Middle Americans. I'm not sure how that... Now, think about this in 1985. What year was you born? 81?
Yeah.
1985. Person of the Year was the whistleblowers. Was that the Iran-Contra hearings? What would that be after?
1985?
Yeah.
I thought that was the leader of China.
Maybe it was.
Time Person of the Year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. 87 and 89, Mikhail Gorbachev. How about that? All right.
Bring down that wall.
That's right, Mr. Gorbachev. By the way, in 98, Bill Clinton and Ken Starr. Remember all the investigation? The Kenneth Starr. All right. Now, you're really going to like this, Jason. Starting in 2018, person of the year. The architect of AI.
Okay.
19, the architect of AI. 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, the architect of AI. Like I've said on this show, you started introducing it to me a couple years ago, and I thought you were crazy, and still do, but not on AI, obviously anymore. Okay, here we go. Guess what AI was broken up by? An entertainer.
How so?
2023.
Biggest. Oh, you mean the broken up by in the list of this?
Yes. Broken up by an entertainer. Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I see that.
You're not up on that one?
No, I don't subscribe to his person of the year by time because I don't always agree.
Well, will we say it's a liberal magazine?
New York Times typically is.
Okay. Well, so that would pretty well put you.
But I don't know if New York Times and Times Magazine, I don't know if they're probably no affiliation, but.
Well, they sure liked Obama during his day.
Yeah.
And of course, they did not care for Joe, President Biden. 93, the Peacemakers, which is led by Nelson Mandela. I forgot about him. And also another one worth pointing out here. Well, they're all worth pointing out, but the ones that I'm looking at and kind of focusing on, Martin Luther King in 1963. Was that his heyday? Because I didn't think he was assassinated until about 68, somewhere in there.
I don't know the time frame of that, to be honest. He lived till 1968, but I'm assuming his movement was 63 or so.
Now, we need to get one of our Catholic friends to explain this to me. And was you about to say something?
Well, I was going to say that he delivered a speech. I Have a Dream in 63.
That's when it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would there you go. That would make sense. Okay. Now, I have a lot of respect for the Catholic religion, and I think it's very intriguing. And the Vatican, I'd love to be able to say I've went there, which I have not. On and on and on. But explain this to me. How do we have a Pope John, number 13, in 1962, Time Person of the Year, Pope John, 1962. And then in 1994, it's Pope John Paul II. How do we go from that and 50 years later, 40 years later, back to the second? Any idea?
No question. No answer for that one.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. And then 13 was Pope Francis. He's in that same reign right there. But I don't know either. But I will talk with one of my Catholic buddies, and I will find out that answer. So, as we get into this top 100 most influential people, I wanted to start with Time's Person of the Year, which I think is extremely interesting. And frankly, I've never spent any time on this list. I've looked at it in anything at all. So there you go. Jason, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nominating me for Person of the Year in 2026?
The last 10 years I've done it, but I don't really get a response from them.
You've nominated me 10 years in a row? And
yeah.
I'm getting beat out by AI?
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift.
Turns out.
All right, I can deal with getting beat out by Taylor Swift, but not the AI. I mean, I'm a human. I got a heartbeat.
Maybe it's AI that runs this list.
I've got a beat. Some people don't think I have a heart. But
okay.
Yeah. You know some of those people. Matter of fact, I think you know them all. But nevertheless, it's just fine. Taylor Swift, the only person to break up the AI run on Time Magazine Person of the Year. You know somebody that I'm surprised is not on this list? Elvis Presley.
Sure.
But
what was Jackson?
No, Taylor Swift's the only entertainer.
See.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson would be the next one that I would think of as well. But back when they both were in their heyday, this was a whole lot about politics. Hey, 1975. I need to point this one out. The American Woman, 1975. I don't know why. What's so big about 75 and the American Woman? Some kind of rights?
Highlighting the success of American feminist movement and the status of the everyday, usually anonymous woman who moved into the mainstream of jobs, ideas, and policy making.
I thought that was kind of like in the 60s. Wasn't that the women's lib movement or whatever?
Maybe that's when it started firing up.
Okay. Well, all right. I just know that they were in the workforce pretty hard and heavy, maybe not treated as equals. So on our next episode, we're going to get into the leaders, the titans, the icons of Time Magazine's most 100 influential people. So until next time, continue to live your life the right way.